because of that, it's a bit of an unusual meeting, so we'll jump straight into that. Andrew Watt has given up his time, and he's on Dalkeith Community Council.
Yep.
But he can explain his position. He's really here to help us understand what's happening. A very quick welcome. I'm Mark Witham. I'm the chair of Tynewater Community Council. We've got Jimmy as a minute secretary and Jim our treasurer. And we've got one elected councillor, Councillor Smale, with one corner there.
Apologies from Councillor Mackenzie.
Okay, thank you. So we'll just jump straight into the airport proposal. I don't know how much you guys know, but and I'll just hand over to Andrew. Yep. Kind of just basically introduce yourself
and how I got into all
how you got into it.
Good evening, everyone. Hello. Wow, what a turnout. The last time I was at, we were all sitting around a big table, but no, that's fine. Just a little bit about myself. As Mark said, I'm on Dalkeith District Community Council. I live in Dalkeith, surprisingly. And about 9-10 years ago, I was sitting one night happily watching TV, and suddenly you could hear the sound of this plane coming over, and I'm sure you've heard it yourselves. By the way, I'm not technical or expertise in aviation at all, but my phrase is when the pilot puts the brakes on, and suddenly you hear the and then as he takes them off again. On one occasion, I remember this vividly, it was so loud, I really thought the plane was in trouble. I got up, I went and looked out my back window, because I back onto Dalkeith Country Park, expecting to see flames and about to make a rapid 999 call. It was so loud. At that time, the airport were doing their last attempt to change the flight routes round about the airport. And there was a consultation, and it was right through that and responding to that and getting involved in one or two other things that I found myself where I am now, which is the representative for all the Midlothian community councils on a body called the Edinburgh Airport Noise Advisory Board. It's absolutely unique in Scotland. In one sense, it's a very brave step by the airport, but it's made up of representatives from community councils able to give the community council point of view and information and stuff like that. And the previous one that I got me interested, that got rejected by the CAA, who are the absolute sort of rulers of everything, because the airport had said that one of the new routes they were proposing would have on average 24 flights a day, but from data from elsewhere in the same report, it said it was going to be 66. And the CAA said, hang on, what's going on here? You haven't done this properly, go away, do it again. So that's basically what they've done, and here we are 8 years later with the next proposal. I wasn't really around when the last one was being done. I wasn't involved in it at all, so I don't know. All I can say is what I have observed of the way this one has been done, particularly through one guy that they managed to pinch from Newcastle Airport. I really think he has tried to meet all the criteria and restrictions within which he has to work and to come up with a solution that he thinks is the best. You may or may not agree. That's up to you. So anyway, bit of background. You may think that Edinburgh Airport has one runway. No, it has two. It depends which way you're going. Are you going from the Forth or towards the Forth? If you're going, and this is the one for the prevailing wind, you land from the Forth, that's points in roughly 240 degrees, so it's called runway 24. If you're going the other way, obviously 180 degrees different, it's runway 6. So it's those two different runways that get talked about. And the way the aircraft navigate just now, on the ground there are beacons, and they basically fly from one beacon to another, to another, to another, and so on. When they get down nearer the ground, they come under the air traffic controllers based at the tower at Edinburgh Airport, and they're the ones who guide them in on the various different routes. However, technology has moved on, And aviation is now moving towards what they call performance-based navigation. And I call that as like sat-nav for aeroplanes. They know exactly where they are, or fairly exactly. Unlike a car, aircraft get blown by the wind, so they might think they're going that way, but they're more likely probably going that way. So that's just a complication, is it? But anyway, they can navigate far more accurately, and that is what everything is moving to. And another thing that on the noise board, a group that I was involved in were exploring was whether the Firth of Forth could be used more. It hadn't been beforehand because when the RAF were at Lucas, they tended to fly rather fast planes with trainee pilots up and down the Forth and out, just out of the mouth. That, of course, doesn't happen anymore. So the Firth of Forth is now there and available for most of the time. But the MOD have put in a request and reserved airspace right slap bang at the mouth, where I forget the exact figure, it's something like on 44 occasions in the year, for no more than 4 hours at a time, they're going to use that for training. Dear Mr. Vladimir Putin gets a bit more nasty, maybe that might have to be used more often, but anyway, it's there. And because it's such a limited time of the year, I mean, someone said it's like 9 days, and as I say, only 4 or 5 hours in a day. But anyway, it's going to be very, very limited, and they have managed to find alternatives, not as good as the ones they're proposing, but or the main ones that they're proposing, that they're going to use. The other thing that you have to bear in mind in all this, the airport doesn't have a free hand. There is a thing called the Air Navigation Guidelines 2017. And I've got a copy there, so I'm happy to leave anyone who has trouble